Because at times we may not have sufficient to meet all our goals. I mean, we can aspire for, 20 goals, but do we have the resources for it? So we need to prioritize that what are the most critical and important goals to meet. So you could be looking at buying a house. You could be worried about maybe at her age, she may want to go for another higher education, and you go overseas, that could cost a lot. So she could need to plan for that. Or if someone has children, they may need to plan for their children's education rather than their own education. So it's you could say an exercise which needs to be an iterative in nature, that someone gives you a solution, then you think of something else, you add to it. Once you know that what are my goals, we also kind of, like I said earlier, look at your risk profile, that okay, to meet these goals, and this is your kitty which you have, these are the earnings which you will, bring over the years. So what is it which is available in terms of inflows, and what the outflows are going to be? So once we have that, and once we know your risk profile, then we try to create an investment plan for you, which will take into account, like Ritu said, inflation, because the biggest risk is losing purchasing power every day. So if your money is just lying idle, not doing anything, that is the biggest risk. So once we create a plan, taking all these factors into account, then the most critical important thing is that every time you have an inflow, rather than investing in an ad hoc manner, that okay, this is my next lump sum, what do I do with it? And someone suggests, okay, this is a good property, why don't you buy this? We should follow the plan which is laid out. And that is very, very critical. And let me tell you, not just women. Women are actually maybe will be better at it. Most men do not follow a set plan. They are not disciplined enough to follow a set plan. You're easily swayed away by what you read in the newspapers every morning, or what a friend tells you. If stock market is up, someone may give you a tip, oh, why don't you buy this? And here goes all your, 80% of your money into one single thing. So sticking to a financial plan is important, and that is where I think the most critical part of an advisor comes in, that he makes sure that you are following this plan in a disciplined way. And during times of volatility in various asset classes, they are able to handhold you through it. That is very, very important.
Yeah, and I think, like for instance, when I sit with my financial advisor, and all of you may think, we're all pros, but no, you all need that helping hand to guide you into mutual funds, and then of course you take it up on your own. I mean, I just give you an example of the kind of questions that my financial planner, when the first time I met him, asked me. Age, how much do you earn per month? Are you married? What is your husband's income? It's also a balancing act. That's called a marriage, and I would put financials right on top over there when it comes to a marriage. Are you planning kids? How soon are you planning kids? Do you want to take a sabbatical? How long do you think you will continue to do what you're doing? Would you want to become an entrepreneur? Would you want to start an e-commerce business? Would you need a corpus for that? So these are the kind of questions that you need to figure out as to what is your age, at what point and stage in your life are you at, and what is your ultimate goal. So we've, I think, taken care of the short-term needs. Now let's come to the core. Would anyone have a question? Is there a particular thing they would like to save for, and they would want to ask a question? Yes, ma'am, at the back. I'll come to you.
I have two questions.
Sure.
One was, do you recommend, any of the panelists may answer, would you recommend liquidating a property asset and investing it in some other instrument, maybe mutual funds? That is one question. And the second is that, let's say you have a corpus of money which you want to invest in property. You got the money, but rather than do that, you take a home loan. Does it make sense to as a tax saving instrument, to take a home loan? Or, I mean, you can buy the property right out, but you don't do that, you take a loan.
Rita, you want to take that one?
So, the first question which you have asked is, do you liquidate your real estate? So currently the real estate market is real bad. You may not, even if when you want to liquidate, you may not be able to liquidate your asset. So first thing which what you need to decide is, are you in urgent requirement of the funds? And second is, are you willing to sell at whatever price is available? So currently, the real estate market may be, let us say, ₹100, but there are no buyers in the market. So now suppose once you sell the asset, then so that is basically on the real estate asset right now. We do not know because and also real estate asset varies from region to region. Currently in the NCR region there is an oversupply. So if you are in the NCR region, there are no buyers. But in some, let's say Bombay, there are certain specific areas of Bombay where if you still you are able to sell your property. So at least, and whatever we read, the real estate market is expected to remain bad for next 5 years. So, and what happened is in the last 5 years, most of the people invested in the residential area. So residential area, based on the various, the GLL reports, who is one of the largest brokers in India, there is an oversupply of the residential space in India. Now commercial is where people are planning to invest, because now nobody invested in the commercial in the last 5 years, but now there is a requirement of the commercial space as we are looking into Make in India, and there is an infrastructure growth which is expected to come in India. Now coming to your second question on whether you should take loan on your asset. So if you are owning a property and you take a loan, if you suppose, and giving an example, suppose you take a loan, currently you will get a loan at 10%, not less than 10%, and then you invest that money which can yield you 11%. But then the risk, because currently the risk-free interest rate is 7% or 8%. So without taking an interest, you are earning 8%. But if you want to earn 11 or 12%, which is higher than your loan interest, you need to take certain risk, because so it's a risk profile. Higher the return, higher would be the risk associated with that investment. So you need to understand those risks, and based on that,
Does the tax saving component not offset that?
Tax saving is basically, if let's say I'm actually investing, suppose I have borrowed 100 rupees and I invest that money. So my interest income which I'm earning, I can reduce down the interest expense from that.
And also I think you need to figure out, you're selling the property, in how much time would you want that money back? You know what I'm saying? What is it that you want to do with that sizable amount that you're going to buy or sell? I'm guessing this is an investment property, it's not the house that you live in. If it's the house that you live in, you're going to occupy that house, your needs and requirements obviously change as per that. If it's just for investment purpose, after how long would you want to sell? Why are you buying that house? For what purpose? I think all of that is going to evaluate what you eventually want to do with the property.
I just want to confirm, sorry, one
Sure.
thing. So you think right now is a good time to buy non-residential property?
You mean commercial real estate?
I'm not a real estate expert. I would not like to comment that. But I'm just saying, the focus is on going to be on non-residential.
Let me add to that, because I just want to say that where are you currently invested? You need to diversify. If you're already too much into real estate, then do not make additional investments into real estate. Maybe look at some other asset classes. Mutual fund in itself is not an asset class like we explained earlier. So through mutual funds, you could invest in equities, debt, or even real estate, or even gold, or a combination of all these three. But it will depend where your current investments are.
Okay, so I want to add a bit to it. The way I would look at it is, of course, are you over-leveraged? I mean, are you overexposed in that particular asset class? If the answer is yes, then you need to cut it down. If the answer is no, then the second question is, what is your opportunity cost of staying invested? For example, if you've got a residential property in NCR, vis-a-vis, let's say you've got a residential property in Bangalore, the pile-up of stock in NCR is far greater than what in a end-user driven market like Bangalore would be. So then you need to figure out, if I sell this right now, can I have, within the same asset class, do I have a better opportunity there? Okay. The third question then is, then when you essentially sell out real estate, you have to reinvest the money, otherwise you end up paying a capital gains tax, right? So you have to reinvest it into residential property. Now there are ways of overcoming that, which I'll be happy to take offline for you. Regarding your tax query, your principal payment, okay, can be covered under ATC under the